Hey everybody, welcome to the Family Fudge. I'm Jennifer.
And welcome to Bunches of Lunches. Since it's been so cold recently, I decided to make this week all about hot lunches, and I'm sharing the best thermos lunches that you can pack for school or for work. Okay friends, I'm kicking things off with the number one most popular and most requested hot lunch, which is of course mac and cheese. I get so many subscribers sending in their mac and cheese lunch ideas, so I know you guys love it and I know my kids love it too. And I really like sharing different ways to jazz up a standard box of mac and cheese, so that's what I'm doing today. Now this lunch idea was sent in by Madison, who's from Missouri. And even though Madison sent in this idea, this particular lunch is actually going to be for my daughter Lily to take with her today. So when I told Lily I was making mac and cheese, she asked if I could make it her favorite way. Let me show you what I mean. To my pot, I'm adding just the pasta from my box of mac and cheese. You can use any type of mac and cheese, but Lily really loves this protein style one with smoky cheese in it. Next, I'm adding 1 cup of water, half a cup of milk, then 1 tablespoon of butter. Now I'm gonna give this a stir and wait for it to come to a boil. Once it is boiling, I'm going to add in the cheese packet that it came with. I'll whisk that in, then continue to let it cook for about 8 more minutes. Now I do want to make sure to stir this every minute or so, just to make sure that nothing sticks to the bottom of my pan. Now at this point, I'll turn off the heat, season with some salt and pepper. Then to make this extra cheesy, I always like to add in a handful of extra cheese. And I am measuring this with my heart. Oh yes, and because we like our mac and cheese on the saucy side, I'm also going to add in a little bit of extra milk to thin it out. Now I could serve this mac and cheese just as is and it would be delicious. But if I'm making this the Lily way, I also need to add in some ham. Now this is actually Canadian bacon that I went ahead and cut into flowers while the pasta was cooking. You don't have to do this, but I think it's cute. And then Lily and all of my kids just started liking peas in their mac and cheese too. Anytime I can get my kids to eat more veggies, I'm all for it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put a lid on this so it stays nice and hot. Then I can move on to the rest of Madison from Missouri's lunch request. For the fruit, she requested grapes. For the veggie, some carrots. And I'm not going to forget the ranch to go with them. For a snack on the side, Madison requested goldfish crackers. I was able to find these rainbow ones, and I'm going to put these in the cutest goldfish snack container. Next, for the drink, I'm packing some strawberry milk. Now it's time I can go ahead and dump out the hot water and add in the mac and cheese. And because I like things to be cute, I'm going to add a little bit of garnish to the top. And to finish off this lunch with a few strawberry pretzels for the sweet treat. This lunch turned out so cute, and I know Lily is going to love the mac and cheese. This combination of smoky cheese with the ham and the peas smells so good. Now that brings me to a lunch idea sent in by Bree from California, and she requested one of the best lunches to have on a cold day: tomato soup and grilled cheese. Let me show you how I pack it to go to school. And did you know that you can make a super tasty tomato soup using just your favorite marinara sauce? To my pot, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of butter. I'm gonna let this melt, and then I'm adding my entire 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce. Next, I'm adding 2 cups of water directly into my jar. Now this just helps get all of the sauce out of the jar. I'm going to dump this back into my pot, followed by about half a cup of half and half. Or if you're feeling fancy, you could use heavy cream. Now, if your marinara sauce was a bit on the bitter side, you could also add in a bit of sugar to balance it out. Or if your sauce was on the chunkier side, you could use an immersion blender to smooth it out. But I like the consistency of this soup. I'm just gonna keep it warm and then move on to making a scrumptious 3-cheese grilled cheese. To my bread, I'm going to start by spreading out some garlic and herb Laughing Cow cheese. I'm just using one of these little wedges and I'm going to split it between both slices of bread. This garlicky herby cheese adds such good flavor without being overpowering. Next, I'm adding a slice of Havarti cheese and a slice of cheddar cheese. I'll close this up, butter the outside, then grill it to perfection. Now, when I put the sandwich into the lunchbox, it's not actually going to stay hot, but when it's dipped into the hot soup from the thermos, it's going to be so good. Now, moving on to the fruit. Bree from California requested strawberries. Next to those, I'm going to add some cucumbers. And then Bree also requested carrots, so I went ahead and cut those into flower shapes. And yes, these veggies are also getting some ranch. Next, Bree requested some princess goldfish. And now it's time to add in that piping hot tomato soup. This is super hot, so I'm trying to be really careful. Oh yes, and if you're wondering, this is actually a canning funnel. I got this at Walmart and it really helps me to get the food in here without making an entire big mess. Next, I'll add in these grilled cheese dippers to the back, and then just for fun, I'm going to garnish the top with some extra cheese. Lastly, for Bree's sweet treat, she requested something called a zinger. Now, I was able to find these ones at Walmart, and you guys have to let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried these before. Basically, they're a vanilla sponge cake with a creamy filling, then there's a raspberry and coconut coating on the outside. And then finally, for the drink, I'm adding some pink lemonade. Okay friends, next up, I'm putting together a lunch idea sent in by Gabriel from Idaho, and for his main course, he requested meatballs. Now, I love meatballs for a thermos because there are so many different ways you can jazz them up. Now, since this lunch is actually going to be taken by my son Jackson today, I'm going to make these meatballs his favorite way. Now, usually I do make these meatballs in my crock pot for dinner, and then I'll send these as leftovers the next day. And then I'm going to chop up some sweet bell peppers. Now, I'm using these small ones because that's what I have on hand. My kids love snacking on these bell peppers, but if you do have the regular ones, those will work just fine too. I'm using about 1 cup of bell peppers total. I'm going to add these into my pot, and then I'm going to season this up with some ground ginger, some onion powder, and some garlic powder. I'm going to mix this all together, turn up the heat to medium high, and then add on the lid. And this is just going to help everything heat up a lot faster. So while that's happening, I can move on to the fruit. Of course, I do want to add even more pineapple. And then Gabriel also requested an orange. So I'm going to add one of these little cuties. I like to cut the tops off just to make them easier for the kids to peel. And then for the veggie, I'm adding some celery. And the trick when it comes to celery is to not make the pieces too tall. Otherwise, the lunchbox won't close all the way. These will also get some ranch to go with them. For a snack on the side, I decided to go with the mini sun chips, and then for the sweet treat, I had some super brown bananas that I needed to use up, so I put together some really easy 3-ingredient mini muffin bites. Here's how I made them. Now, I had about 3 bananas total that were actually frozen, so I started by microwaving them for about 30 seconds. Then I mashed them up and added in a cake mix. Now, you could use any flavor of cake mix that you want, but I thought pineapple would go super well with the pineapple meatballs. And then the third ingredient in here are eggs. You do need 2 of them, and then you just mix everything together. With this hack, you don't need any oil or water. These go in the oven at 350 for about 15 minutes. And you guys, this recipe makes a ton of mini muffins, which makes them perfect to make ahead to throw into lunches. And now back to the main course. These meatballs are smelling so good. They kind of have a sweet and sour sauce with them, and this part is optional, but if you can top this with green onions, it'll be even better. Now, I don't have any leftover rice to go with these, so I'm taking some help from the store by using this kind. I'll put just a little at the bottom of the thermos, and then top it with plenty of meatballs and sauce. And now lastly, I'm going to add a tropical Capri Sun. Next up, I'm putting together a lunch idea sent in by Carter from Virginia. And for his lunch, he just requested chicken nuggets. Now, I was able to find these Winnie the Pooh themed chicken nuggets, which are so cute. So I decided to go with a Winnie the Pooh theme. But unfortunately, the lunch decorations I ordered to go with this lunch got delayed. So please bear with me. I'm going to try to make this cute anyway. Now, when I'm making chicken nuggets, I do want to preheat my thermos, but I do have to say, if I'm making chicken nuggets in a thermos, they will stay warm until lunchtime, but they don't really stay crunchy. So if you only like crunchy nuggets, you probably won't like them in a thermos at all. Now I'm gonna cook these nuggets in my air fryer, and these are supposed to be shaped like Winnie the Pooh, a bee, and a honey pot. I'd say they kind of look like that, but not really. So while those go in the air fryer, I'm gonna move on to the fruit. To represent the character Eeyore, I'm going to add some blueberries, and for the veggie, I'm cutting up some carrots to represent Tigger. And I'm doing so well at not forgetting the ranch. Next, for the character Piglet, I'm going to add some strawberry cheesecake yogurt. This is nice and pink, just like Piglet. And then since Winnie the Pooh loves honey, I'm also going to be adding in some of these honey barbecue chips. And then for the sweet treat, I tried making these honey nut Cheerio bars. To my bowl, I combined half a cup of peanut butter with half a cup of honey. I popped that in the microwave for about 30 seconds just to make them easier to mix together. Then I added a splash of vanilla followed by 3 cups of regular Cheerios. Then I mixed these up just like I would if I was making Rice Krispie treats. But you guys, after an hour, these did not want to come out of my pan. Eventually, I did get them to come out, but they kind of fell apart. Now, I do have to say these had a really good flavor, but they never really set up all the way. They stayed super soft and a little bit sticky. I give this recipe a 2 out of 5. And now that our chicken nuggets are done, I'm going to dump out the water. Then what I do with a drier food like nuggets is I take a paper towel. With half of it, I'll dry out the thermos really well. Then I fold up the other half to place on the bottom of the thermos. Now the idea behind this is that the paper towel will help soak up any moisture coming off the nuggets. But like I said, these won't really be crunchy by lunchtime, but they should be warm. To go along with the nuggets, I'm going to throw in some ketchup. So here's how the lunch turned out before. I decided I didn't like it and I changed it to this. In there, I can go ahead and reheat some mini corn dog muffins. These are so fun and easy to make. All I do is take 4 hot dogs and I cut each of them into 6 pieces. Then I take 1 box of the Jiffy corn muffin mix. This one's a little bit chunky, so I'm gonna break up the clumps first. Then to this, I'm adding 1 egg, some melted butter, and some milk. And I will have the full recipe linked down below for you guys if you wanna make these yourself. These take about 8 to 10 minutes in the oven, and these are so great to make ahead and then throw into lunches. My favorite way to reheat these is in the air fryer. Now, of course, before I put them into the thermos, I do need to dump out the water, dry it out, and then I'll add half of a paper towel to the bottom. This really helps to absorb any condensation inside the thermos. And of course, to go along with the corn dogs, I do want to include a little bottle of ketchup and mustard. Now moving on to the fruit and veggies. First, I'm adding some strawberries, then some golden pineapple, and then right in the center, I'm going to add some carrot stuffed cucumbers. Now for a salty snack, I went ahead and grabbed a bag of these Funyuns. These totally remind me of the golden rings from the Sonic movie. And then for a sweet treat, I was able to find these super cute Sonic cookies from Walmart. This little snack container is totally reusable too. And then lastly, I'm also going to throw in a Sonic-themed fruit punch. So now I'm using this grape jelly. I'm actually going to be making some tasty PB&J oatmeal. For this, I'm just cooking up some quick oats like I normally would, but when the oatmeal is pretty much cooked, I'm going to be adding a spoonful of peanut butter, and for a bit of sweetness, I'm getting out our honey bear, and I'm going to drizzle just a bit of honey in here as well. Next, I'm going to top Lily's oatmeal with another drizzle of peanut butter, and then comes the grape jelly part. For Lily's fruit, she chose strawberries and grapes, and for her veggie, she chose baby carrots. To go along with this, I'm also adding half a slice of banana, and then I'm going to bury this banana with some vanilla Greek yogurt. And basically, I'm just trying to completely cover the banana so it won't turn brown. Plus, it's going to be really tasty. Now that brings me to Lily's treat. Now, instead of adding the regular sized ones, I'm going to add the lunch pack of Nutri-Grain bar bites instead. My personal favorite Japanese dish, so I can't wait to share it with you guys. For this dish, I'm going to need some good Japanese style sticky rice. And to cook this super fast, I'm just going to add it into my Instant Pot. And now comes the fun part. To go with the rice, I'm also going to prepare some Japanese style curry. That's right, you guys, my favorite Japanese dish is kare rice. To my pan on medium heat, I'm going to start by drizzling a little bit of olive oil. Then I can go ahead and get my chicken into the pan. Now, this is actually boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I really prefer dark meat in my curry, but of course you can use any meat that you prefer, or you could even leave it out. Next, I'm adding in carrots and potatoes, followed by about half of a diced onion. Now, I'm just going to keep stirring these for about 5 minutes, or until the chicken is cooked all the way through. Next, I'm going to add some water and bring it to a boil. Once it is boiling, I'm going to go ahead and add my lid on top, and then I'm going to cook this on medium for about 15 minutes. Once that is done, I can go ahead and turn off the heat, and then I'm going to go ahead and break the curry cubes into my dish. And I say cubes because they come packaged like this. They look really cool and interesting to me. You really just have to break them up, throw them in, and they just dissolve so quickly into your dish. So now that the curry is nice and melted into my dish, I'm going to go ahead and cook this for 5 more minutes, stirring constantly until my sauce thickens up. And doesn't that look good, you guys? It smells amazing. So if I was going to pack this for school or for work, I would start by adding some of the rice to the bottom of my Blue Ellie food jar. Then I would top it with the chicken curry. And because I'm notorious for spilling, I do like to use a canning funnel to get my food into the food jar. The leak-proof Blue Ellie food jar is awesome because it uses double wall insulation, and that means it can keep your food hot for up to 12 hours, or it can keep cold foods cold for up to 24 hours. So that is pretty awesome. So now that Emily's main course is done, I'm going to move on to her fruit and veggie. First, I'm going to be adding some strawberry hearts. And on this side, I'm adding some banana coins. For her veggie, Emily requested cucumbers, and to dip them in, she also requested hummus. Next, I'm adding in a very Japanese snack. These are called vegetabaru. These come in a chisai hato shape, which means tiny heart shape. And they also say that they're salad flavor or sarara flavor, which I'm not exactly sure how to describe. For Emily's sweet treat, I'm adding in some Koala's March cookies, which is basically a bite-sized cookie with a filling. This one happens to be the strawberry flavor, but they also make a really good chocolate flavored one. And then to complete this lunch, I'm also adding in a very fun Japanese drink, which is called ramune. And this one happens to be in the pineapple flavor, which I've never actually tried before. And my taste tester for this lunch is my oldest daughter, Mackenzie. Instead of packing an entire Marie Callender's pot pie, I'm going to throw together some easy mini chicken pot pies. To make these, I'm just using some cooked chicken, some veggies, and a can of cream of chicken soup. Once this is mixed all together, I'm going to stuff this filling into some flaky biscuit dough. Now these mini chicken pot pies are going to take about 20 minutes at 375. So while those are in the oven, I'm going to prepare the rest of Mackenzie's lunch. For her fruit, she picked out blueberries and grapes. And to go along with this, I'm also adding in some cucumbers and some carrots. As a snack on the side, I'm also going to throw in some of these new Cheez-It crackers. These are called Grooves, and this is the white cheddar flavor. And would you check these out, you guys? These little pot pies turned out so good, and they fit perfectly inside the thermos. And then finally, for Mackenzie's sweet treat, I'm kicking things off with one of Lily's favorite hot lunches, which is actually one of her favorite dinners too. I'm going for kind of a rainbow unicorn theme for this lunch, and I'm going to preheat Lily's thermos with some boiling hot water. Then I have to move on to her sweet treat. Last week I found these Lisa Frank sugar cookies at Target, and I knew they would be so fun for today's lunch. And for those of you who are my age, you'll probably remember Lisa Frank being all the rage back in the day. But you guys, these sugar cookies don't actually have a rainbow on them, but they do have a really cute little pink unicorn. While those are in the oven, I can move on to the main course, which is technically leftovers. First, I'm going to dump out that hot water. This really does help the food stay hot until lunchtime. And then I went ahead and reheated some of our lazy lasagna. Here's how I made it. In my 9x13 pan, I added about 1 cup of pasta sauce. Any flavor will do, but we really love this one. Then I took half a bag of frozen ravioli, and I added a layer of these right to the bottom. Now, you could use meat ravioli, but Lily prefers the kind with just cheese and no meat. And you guys, you do not have to pre-cook these at all. They can go in here frozen and it'll work just fine. On top of that, I added about 1 cup of cottage cheese. Now, if you are not a fan of cottage cheese, you can definitely leave that out, but it does make this dish nice and cheesy, and it adds more protein in here too. Next, I added half of the remaining pasta sauce, followed by the other half of ravioli. I added about 1 cup of mozzarella cheese, and I poured on about half of the remaining pasta sauce. Now to complete this, I added the other half of the frozen ravioli, topped that with another cup of shredded mozzarella, and about half a cup of Parmesan. Now this part is optional, but I do like to add a little bit of dried Italian herbs on here too. This cooks covered for about 30 minutes, then uncovered for another 20 minutes. And when it's nice and bubbly like this, you know it's done. Now you can probably see why this is called lazy lasagna. This is so quick and easy to put together, and of course it makes great leftovers for lunch the next day. Now, moving on to Lily's fruit, I am going for a rainbow here. So first I'm adding strawberries, next some pineapple, and then for her veggie, some carrots. For a salty snack, I'm adding these potato and lentil curls from Trader Joe's, and then that leaves me with just enough space for a couple of those unicorn sugar cookies. Next, I'm throwing in some yogurt, and for Lily's drink, she's getting some water in her unicorn water bottle. Okay guys, today for Jackson's lunch, I'm going with breakfast-inspired food with a Pokemon theme. Jackson loves breakfast burritos, so I'm going to pack him some mini ones that he can DIY at lunchtime. To make this hot lunch quick and easy, I'm going to start with these fully cooked turkey sausages. These take just about 5 minutes in the air fryer. Then, in a separate bowl, I'm going to add about 6 eggs. Now no, these are not all for Jackson. These are going to go into several lunches, so I think 6 is a good number. And then to get more protein in here, I'm going to add about 1/4 cup of cottage cheese. Oh yes, and I season this with plenty of salt and pepper. Next, I'm adding some butter to my skillet, and I'm just going to scramble this up. Now, fun fact you guys, scrambled eggs are one of the first things that Jackson learned to cook for himself a while back. But he cooks them a little bit differently than I do. He likes his scrambled eggs to be well done, like literally browned, almost burnt if you ask me. But of course, since these eggs are not all for just Jackson, I won't be burning them today. Now at this point, I like to turn the skillet off and I'm going to put the cover on to help the cheese melt. But while this filling is still piping hot, I can go ahead and add it to Jackson's thermos that I already preheated. Now for the DIY part, I'm going to pack Jackson some tortillas on the side. That way he can build his own mini breakfast burritos himself. And I just added these to a reusable snack bag. Next, I'm adding in lots of red colored food to represent a Pokeball. Jackson's getting strawberries, some tomatoes, and a Baby Bell cheese that I'm gonna try to make look like a Pokeball. For a salty snack, Jackson's getting some cheddar puffs, and on the side, I'm also including little containers of salsa, and these are for Jackson to add into his mini breakfast burritos. Now on the side, for a bit of a sweet treat, I found these Pokemon graham crackers at Walmart. And you guys, these are so fun. These little cookies have little Pokemon faces on them too. Lastly, in addition to water, I'm also going to make Jackson a Pikachu punch. This is just equal parts lemonade and pineapple juice. This punch is a nice yellow color, just like Pikachu. Now, hot lunch idea number 2 was sent in by Sarah. Sarah is from Australia, and for her lunch, she requested a Toy Story theme. For her main course, she requested a dish that you can get at Toy Story Land at Disney World, and it's called tachos. Now, normally tachos start with tater tots, but today, instead of regular old potato tots, I'm going to be trying these broccoli and cheese tots instead. Now, I found these at Target, and they really do look a lot like regular tater tots, but just a lot bigger. I think this might be a really fun way to add in some secret veggies. To cook these up, I'm going to quickly throw them into my air fryer, and while they're cooking, I'm also going to be preheating my thermos. And I'm going to go grab some chili. Now you can't have tachos without a chili. And of course, you can use whatever kind of chili you like if you make this dish. We really like the turkey chili from Trader Joe's, and I especially like this not too spicy, so it's totally kid friendly. Now, once I have the chili in the pot, I'm basically going to be heating it up until it is boiling, which is another really great tip for keeping food hot until lunchtime. You really want to put the food in the thermos while it is piping hot, much hotter than you would actually serve it to your kids. So for these tachos, first I'm going to add in a layer of the tots. Then I'll go ahead and top them with some of the chili. I'll go ahead and close this up, and then everything else that goes into tachos, I'm going to put on the side. That way these ingredients can be added to the thermos right before it gets eaten. Tachos also need shredded cheddar cheese, some sour cream, and some chopped green onions. Now for Sarah's fruit, I'm adding in some green grapes, and for her veggie, I'm adding some cucumber and carrot stars. For her snack, she requested potato chips, so I'll add those on the side. And then for her treat, I'm adding a very special green macaron. To this, I'm just going to add 3 little eye sprinkles. For her drink, she requested green cordial, which I couldn't actually find anywhere near me, so instead I'm just going to add a fruity drink with a Jessie topper. Now moving on to a lunch for my son Griffin. You guys know he loves mac and cheese, and I recently made this taco mac and cheese for dinner, and you guys, it is so good. Now for this lunch, I am going with a Cars theme. We love the movie Cars, but we especially love the Cars ride at Disneyland. You guys, I just found the video where Lily went on the Cars ride for the very first time. I think she was only like 3 or 4 years old. It was so cute. I would love to know in the comments down below if any of you have ever been on this ride before. Now, like I said, for Griffin's main course, he's getting some leftover taco mac and cheese. Here's how I made it. In a big old pot, I cooked up 2 boxes of deluxe mac and cheese. The Annie's kind is our favorite. And then in a separate skillet, I cooked 1 pound of turkey. Now you could also use beef. I added 1 packet of low sodium taco seasoning and 1 can of mild Rotel tomatoes. Now you guys, even though these are mild, they're still kind of spicy. So if you're not a fan of spice, you can definitely leave it out or just use half a can. So while the meat mixture was cooking, I went ahead and drained the pasta and I added in the cheese. Then it was time to combine the 2 together. Once everything gets mixed together, it's ready to serve. This one is so cheesy and full of flavor. Now when I go to reheat this, I like to add a splash of milk and a little bit of shredded cheese. This really helps if the mac and cheese gets a little bit dry, because when you add things to a thermos, the saucier foods tend to stay hotter longer. So like if you packed soup in a thermos, that's gonna stay hotter for longer than if you were to pack something more dry, like chicken nuggets or a grilled cheese. Griffin's fruit and veggies, I'm going with a stoplight pattern, and that's to go with our Cars theme. So I'm adding tomatoes for a red light, yellow carrots for a yellow light, and of course, for a green light, I'm adding some green grapes. For a salty snack on the side, I'm adding in some bugles. Now I think these look just like little traffic cones. And then for the sweet treat, I'm going to add in just 1 of these mini donuts. I think the chocolate ones look a lot like little tires. Lastly, in addition to water, I'm also packing Griffin a Good to Grow with a Cars topper. snacks and treats to choose from for this lunch. So for this lunch, I'm going to start by making Jude's main course, and she requested koshari. It's basically a mix of rice, lentils, macaroni, vegetables, and spices. Basically cook and mix those all together. Then you top them with a delicious tomato and onion sauce. You can add chickpeas in here or crispy fried onions, and you can even make it spicy if you want to by adding some crushed red pepper flakes. I will put a link to the full recipe in the description box below. So into my blue Ellie food jar, I'm going to add the rice, lentil, and macaroni mixture. I did go ahead and season this up with a good amount of salt and pepper as well. And then of course I'm going to top this with that zesty tomato sauce. Now I would love to know in the comments down below if you've ever had koshari or if you make it yourself, because this is definitely a first for us. Now moving on to Jude's fruit, she requested a fresh peach. So I went ahead and cut this in half and removed the pit. To go along with this, I'm also adding some bell peppers, some banana muffins, and then I'm adding some extra special things as well. First, I'm going to add some of these Kano corn cones. Now these look really interesting. They kind of remind me of bugles. These ones say they are pizza flavored. And then I'm also going to be adding in some of these duetto biscuit cookies with a date filling. And now the very last thing I'm adding in here is a lemonade. Now the taste tester for this lunch is going to be my youngest child, Griffin. Okay friends, now that brings me to a hot lunch for Mackenzie. This one is extremely quick and easy, and it's perfect to throw together in the morning before you head out the door. For this lunch, I've gotten out all of our Hello Kitty lunch supplies, and for Kenzie's main course, I'm going to start by tossing some fully cooked frozen meatballs into my air fryer. Now you guys, if you have never cooked frozen meatballs in an air fryer before, I totally recommend it. It is so easy and only takes about 10 minutes. Now I like to serve meatballs over rice, but when I don't have any leftover rice, the next best things are these little rice packets. These only take about 90 seconds in the microwave, and they come in lots of different flavors and types of rice. After the meatballs have cooked for about 8 minutes, I like to take them out, give them a stir, and then squirt on some barbecue sauce. Now of course, you can use whatever kind of barbecue sauce is your favorite, but Mackenzie's favorite is this Japanese style one. This one has soy sauce, ginger, garlic, onion, rice vinegar, and sesame oil. Oh yes, and this barbecue sauce is on the thinner side. It's not really thick and sticky like the US barbecue sauce would be, and it's on the salty side, so I'm making sure not to add too much. While the food is still piping hot, I'm going to go ahead and add in the rice and the meatballs into Kenzie's preheated thermos. For Mackenzie's fruit, I'm going to pack her some kiwi. I went ahead and cut these with a zigzag shape just to make them pretty. To go along with that, I'm also adding some strawberries, and I'm going to fill in the gaps with some mandarin oranges. Next, for her veggie, I have a couple of different chopped salad kits for her to choose from. My girls and I love these salad kits, and they come in so many different styles and flavors. Now, Mackenzie chose the avocado toast flavored one. This one also comes with little bagel chips instead of croutons, and it comes with avocado ranch for the dressing. Now to get some extra veggies in here, I'm also adding some cucumbers and some carrots. Next, for her sweet treat, I was able to find these new Hello Kitty goldfish grams at Target. And you guys, these ones are so cute, and they're strawberry shortcake flavored. If you spot these at Target, you gotta grab a bag. Lastly, I'm sending Kenzie with plenty of water in her Hello Kitty water bottle. Okay friends, now that brings me to a lunch for my oldest daughter Mackenzie. And you guys, almost everything from her lunch we found at Costco. Her lunch is gonna be super fast and easy to make, but it's still gonna be super tasty. So while her thermos is heating up, I'm going to throw some frozen gyoza in a pan. Now, I already threw away the box in the recycle bin, but it looks like this. They're actually on sale right now, and they are so good. They say they are Japanese style, and they really do taste just like the ones we had while we were in Japan. Now, these take about 10 minutes in the pan, and then they're gonna be ready to go. And you guys, don't worry about the browned, crispy edges. I know they look kind of burnt, but trust me, that part is called the lace, and it's like the crispy edges. It is so tasty, we love it. So I'll go ahead and pack these into Mackenzie's thermos. And to go with them, I'm also including some dipping sauce. Next, for Mackenzie's fruit, I'm adding some of these super crunchy green grapes. And then for her veggie, I grabbed one of our favorite Asian salad kits. This one has fresh cabbage, romaine lettuce, carrots, celery, and green onions. And it also comes with the crispy wontons, toasted almonds, and a light sesame dressing. Now, to make this look extra special, I'm also going to add some extra carrots and some cucumbers that I cut into cherry blossom shapes. Now, for a crunchy snack on the side, I found these delicious rice crackers at Costco. These are a little bit salty and a little bit sweet, and there's a little bit of soy sauce flavor in there as well. These totally remind me of these snacks we had in Japan called hime maru. And then also from Costco, for Mackenzie's sweet treat, I found these strawberry boba cookies. Now, these don't taste like boba tea at all. They're actually more like a shortbread cookie with some strawberry flavored chewy bits inside. They're very interesting. And now, last but not least, for Mackenzie's drink, I was able to find this really cute Sailor Moon soda, but I didn't find it at Costco. I actually found this at a store called Five Below. They had so many fun and interesting drinks. Now, this next lunch idea was sent in by Emily, and for her lovely lunch, she requested everyone's favorite mac and cheese. Who doesn't love some cheesy goodness? In fact, I want to give a shout out to Marie, Angel, Arlo, and Rihanna because they also sent in some really tasty looking mac and cheese lunch ideas this week. So thanks, guys. Now, I'm going to start by preheating our thermos with some boiling hot water. Then, for her mac and cheese, Emily specifically asked for the Kraft Deluxe. You guys know that's the kind with the extra cheesy sauce. But you guys have to let me know in the comments down below, when it comes to boxed mac and cheese, do you prefer the kind with powdered cheese that you have to mix with milk and butter? Or do you prefer the extra creamy deluxe mac and cheese? Oh yes, and to make this quickly, I just use my Rapid Mac cooker. I got this on Amazon, and it's awesome because it just goes in the microwave. You guys, this mac and cheese is seriously creamy, and I love the little hearts throughout. But to make this extra cute, I saved just a few to put on top. Now moving on to Emily's fruit and veg. She requested watermelon, so I'm adding these in little heart shapes. She also requested peas, so I'll add these right here with a little heart-shaped carrot on top. And then right next to that, I'm also adding in some corn that she requested, and these are gonna get a little cucumber heart on top, just for decoration. We've got hearts everywhere, folks. Even the veggies are getting into the Valentine spirit. For a snack on the side, Emily asked for the Valentine's Day goldfish. These ones are actually strawberry shortcake flavored. And speaking of strawberry flavored, for a special treat, Emily also suggested chocolate covered strawberries. Now these can be quite pricey if you buy them at the store, but believe me, they're really easy to make at home. Now I like to use this kind of chocolate. It's pretty inexpensive and you can pop the entire thing in the microwave, which makes dipping so easy. Another tip is after you wash your strawberries, you want to make sure they are completely dry before you start dipping them into the chocolate. Otherwise, your chocolate might get all seized up and clumpy, and that does not make a pretty presentation. Now, I like to leave the strawberry tops on to use as a handle while dipping. To finish off this lunch, Emily requested a raspberry poppy for her drink. This is a refreshing and bubbly choice, and of course I love that it's pink. And there you have it, guys, Emily's perfectly adorable heart-filled lunch. She's gonna start by making dessert first because she requested apple strudel, and I was actually able to find some that are almost ready to go at Aldi. I just have to bake them, but they do take quite a long time, so I'm gonna go ahead and put those in first. And then I can start on her main course. Caitlin requested some traditional German bratwurst. And you guys, my kids have actually had these before and they love them. These are already fully cooked, but I do want to go ahead and heat them up and add some nice grill marks to them. So I'm just going to put them on my indoor grill pan. Once these are nice and hot, I can go ahead and remove them. And then to make sure they fit really well inside my blue LA food jar, I am going to go ahead and slice them in half. So I'll just add these right into here and then add my lid on. And check out the lid, you guys. This includes an easy grip strip, which makes it easy for little hands to be able to twist open. Now to go along with the bratwurst, I'm also going to be adding in a pretzel bun. These are so good. They're nice and soft. I went ahead and sliced it and then I wrapped it in some plastic wrap so it wouldn't be touching the other foods in the lunchbox. And then of course, to go along with the bratwurst, I'm also adding in some authentic German brown mustard and some sauerkraut. And I've just put a little bit of each of those in these blue Ellie sauce containers. Now moving on to Caitlin's fruit, she requested watermelon, and then for her vegetable, I'm adding some cucumbers and orange bell peppers. And then for her snack, Caitlin requested some classic Lay's potato chips. So I'm just going to fit a few on the side here. And then you guys, check out the apple strudel. Doesn't this look so good? I actually ended up cooking this in my air fryer, so it was really fast. And now finally, to complete Caitlin's lunch, I'm going to be adding in some lemonade. And then the taste tester for this lunch is my daughter Lily. Now that brings me to our next lunch idea. This one was sent in by Jasmine, and she's going for a breakfast for lunch theme with a special no-bake treat. For her main course, Jasmine requested either cream of wheat or oatmeal. To me, both of those choices sound delicious, super cozy, and warm. Right now, I have 3 oatmeal options at home. All of these are super tasty, but because it's about to be Valentine's Day, I'm going with the pink one. This is strawberry raspberry oatmeal and it smells amazing. To add a little extra protein and creaminess, I always like to add a couple of tablespoons of vanilla Greek yogurt into the oatmeal. And yes, I am going to decorate this with a strawberry heart on top. Next, for Jasmine's fruit, she asked for strawberries. I cut these ones into tiny hearts. They are so adorable. And then because I needed to use them up, I'm also adding in a little cutie orange. And I'm going to decorate this with a little food pick from Japan, which reminds me, I actually picked up a lot of new lunch supplies on my last trip to Japan that I never showed you guys. So stay tuned for that, you guys. I want to figure out how to make a Japan haul video to share with you. Next, for her veggie, Jasmine asked for celery. And for a snack on the side, I'm adding some heart-shaped cheese. Jasmine also requested some Skinny Pop, and because I know she likes avocado, I picked up the avocado lime flavored one. You guys, this is so good. Now, when it comes to Jasmine's treat, she asked for a no-bake recipe, and you guys know I love those. This one is perfect for this time of year because I'm making strawberries and cream Muddy Buddies. Here's how I made them. Basically, you just divide your Chex cereal into 2 bowls. Then into microwave-safe bowls, you're going to add 1 cup of white chocolate and 1 cup of bright pink chocolate. Once melted, the white chocolate goes in 1 bowl with cereal and the pink goes in another. Those get mixed together, and then you're gonna need 2 Ziploc bags. In one bag, I'm adding 1 cup of powdered sugar, and then in the other bag, I'm adding 1 cup of strawberry cake mix. Now this adds so much strawberry flavor, and I like to save the extra cake mix to make into mug cakes at a later time. Now at this point, you can enjoy this just as is, or you can add whatever toppings you like. I went with peanut butter M&Ms and a few pretzels. Now finally, for Jasmine's drink, I'm adding a strawberry vanilla Olipop. That brings me to a lunch idea sent in by Angel. Angel is from Trinidad and Tobago, and for her main course, she requested some easy lo mein. And you guys, Angel was so sweet. She actually sent me a link to her favorite recipe so I could follow it when making this for her. And just in case you guys want to make this recipe too, I'll link it down below in the description box. So basically for this recipe, you just cook your lo mein noodles. Then you're also going to mix together a sauce which has soy sauce and ginger and sugar and sesame oil. You could also add some sriracha if you like it spicy. Next, you're gonna wanna stir fry up a bunch of veggies, and you can really add whatever veggies you like. And then once the veggies are nice and soft, you just add the noodles back in, you add the sauce, and then you toss it all together. Now, I have to say, this was my first time ever making this recipe, but it smells so good. To go along with this, Angel also requested some sweet and sour chicken, and I'm totally cheating here because I'm using some pre-made sweet and sour chicken that I got at Trader Joe's. Now, I forgot to mention that Angel actually requested a rainbow themed lunch, so to go along with this, I'm adding some dried strawberries to represent red. I'm also adding some mango chunks to represent orange, and for yellow, I'm adding in some corn. Over in this back section, I'm also adding some cucumbers to represent green. And then you guys, for her snack on the side, Angel requested a small bag of plantain chips. For Angel's sweet treat, she requested some chocolate chip cookies, and I was able to find these ones that have coconut in them as well. And then finally, to finish off Angel's lunch, for her drink, she requested some guava juice. And there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that it gives you some fun lunch ideas that you can make for yourself. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.